Premiership semi-final number one, folks. Northampton against Saracens. Close game, but Northampton go through to the final. Let's go through some key events and some stats. You guys can let us know your thoughts, but ultimately, the Saints, despite the fact they scored fewer tries, Finn Smith keeping the scoreboard ticking over with his boot. A pretty bloody solid scrum. And both sides with some hard work at the breakdown, to be fair. Christoph Ridley, the ref, was laser focused on the breakdown for this game. The penalty count is kind of high, but yeah, we'll go through the stats at the end. And yeah, big crowd at the Gardens. Very, very vocal, and I feel like got behind their team early because Saracens came out with a hiss and a roar. A lot of pressure. Makes the Northampton guys have a big old defensive shift. Saracens end up getting 6 points out of it. That kind of early period of pressure. But, I mean, for the amount of pressure they had on, you would have thought against most teams they probably score at least one try. But a couple of penalties, 6 points to nil. And it's not been all smooth from the Saracens guys either. Like, I feel like they did have an uncharacteristically high number of errors in this game. Like, just handling errors and just kind of simple mistakes at times. Like, one point, Elliot Daly's got a free kick from a scrum and he just kicks the thing straight out of the full. Like, uncharacteristic. I mean, Ben Earl got Saracens a penalty not long later at the breakdown to kind of get his team out of hot water. But yeah, just slightly uncharacteristic. First try of the game, though, and only try for Northampton, is a proper peach. And they finally had some phases. They finally had some territory. And they needed a nice bit of kind of magic to unlock the Sarries defence. And they got it, man. The final offload from Furberg through to Berger Ordendal, who'd had a big carry in the build-up, was really, really pleasing. So classy finish. Sends the Saints in front, and the crowd is loving that back into full life. So 7 points to 6. It looks like Saracens had hit back not long later with a move from a line-out. Jamie George looked to have gone over, but the little line-out move that they ran involved a little grubber kick, and George was in front of the kicker. So offside, that one gets chalked off. And both sides getting absolutely hammered at the breakdown, man. Like, in terms of just getting pinged by the ref. Like, as I said, he wasn't letting anybody get away with much at all. Northampton opt for a penalty from one of those penalties. So, opt for a penalty from a penalty. Penalty kick from a penalty at the breakdown. 10 points to 6. Then the crowd has one of their bigger cheers of the game again when Owen Farrell knocks it on. To be fair, the pass he was given was kind of around his ankles, but that results in a scrum. The scrum gets a penalty to Northampton. Gets them some territory. They attack, and another penalty at the breakdown makes it 13-6. So there's small errors, just a loose pass to Owen Farrell's ankles down the track results in 3 points for Northampton. And then one last penalty before half-time. Finn Smith, tough kick, angle and distance, but he nails it. So 16 points to 6 at halftime. Northampton have come back from that 6-point deficit. Possession of territory is pretty even. Both sides are tackling well into the 90s in terms of their percentage, but the penalty count is high, and the run meters are pretty low. It would open up a bit more in the second half. Saracens went through 12 phases to get their first try of the game, and it was a proper worldie as well, I reckon. Like, they had been guilty of not being able, both sides, not being able to get kind of into those double figures phases, but they did it. And to be fair, also the Saracens guys had brought some of their bench players on by this point, so maybe a bit of fresh legs kind of helped out. But Owen Farrell, I mean, he gets a lot of stick, but it's a classy play. Just a wee show of the ball, half break, grubber kick through, and Lewington's able to get Saracens on the board in that second half. So 16 points to 13. It had just been starting to look comfortable for Northampton, Like, especially if they'd gotten one more score, but now it's back to just like a penalty is going to make things even. But yeah, Slightholm, who hadn't had that much of the ball, showed a kind of bit of footballing skills, but couldn't quite get the ball to sit up for him. Otherwise, he might have had a try, but bad bounce is one of those things. Finn Smith misses a kickable penalty on 59 minutes, which is, from a Northampton point of view, slightly concerning. Missed opportunities can kind of start to build up, and you're waiting if the other side takes their chance, then who knows. And then Alex Mitchell denied in the corner. Juan Montin Gonzalez, unbelievable defensive play. I mean, Alex Mitchell is in the clear. He's got nobody in front of him, but he gets run down by Gonzalez, who's just able to get enough on him to put Mitchell's foot in touch. It was bloody close. I mean, that should have been a try in most occasions, but commitment and pace from Juan Martín Gonzalez saves his team. That being said, Northampton still did manage to get a penalty again from the breakdown, which they slotted, 19-13. And then another one, which took it to 22-13. That's the final scoring of Northampton's outing, and there's only 10 minutes to play. 2-score lead, looking like she's pretty much all over. But with Saracens having to chase the game and Northampton looking comfortable, they get a penalty, do Sarries in their own half. Daly with a great touch finder. Line out, they go central into the middle of the field, like 3 phases trucking it up. Then they shift it wide. I think it was Farrell, and then I forget who he passed it to. Was it Daly? And then Daly to Sinti. Sinti goes out over on the left wing, brings it around as much as he can to make the conversion easier, but 22-20 with not long left makes it a proper grandstanding finish. Saracens need to go length of the field though, and they can't do it. Courtney Laws, in his final game at home for Northampton, is able to get in there amongst the other guys and hold one of the series ball carriers up, so it's a maul turnover and the game is done. Northampton through to the final. Run meters finished 337 to 253. Given that both sides were just over 100 at half time, it really did open up a bit more in the second half. Possession territory were pretty even with Northampton edging it. Clean breaks though, 7-3 to Northampton. Defenders beaten 27-15 to Northampton. Penalty count finishes 12-13. So a little bit high, but not egregious. But man, for Sarries, they'll be concerned. Well, they'll just be disappointed. Knock-ons was 11-6 to Sarries, and that includes the turnovers conceded count, which is 17-10. So, yeah, Sarries copping up the ball 17 times to Northampton's 10, but again, that does include the knock-ons. So sometimes just being turned over and sometimes just coughing up the ball, kind of unforced errors. The individual stats, man, Mitchell, 83 metres, a clean break and 4 defenders beaten, man of the match. Coles makes 17 tackles. The scrum did really well. I think Riccione conceded like 4 penalties in this game. Sinti beat 5 defenders, got his try. Gonzalez made 13 from 15 tackles. But yeah, ultimately a losing shift for the Sarries boys. We await to see who Northampton will face in the final. But this was certainly a match worthy of a semi. You guys let us know your thoughts. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.